Here, as we said, we're going to be looking at the definition of marketing, and I've gone to the specification, and this is what BTEC, this is what Pearson have suggested they want our students to understand so what marketing is. So there we are, the process that SAL businesses use to market their products, to reach their customers and meet their needs and expectations. And with that then, I think we need to highlight, we really need to show the students exactly which parts of that definition are crucial and what they need to focus in on. So there we are. To market their products or services, obviously, to reach their customers, because we want the customers to come through our doors and spend their money so we bring revenue into our business. But we also need to meet the needs and expectations of our customers, which is what we said towards the back end of the last video. If we're not doing that, then why would customers come and spend their money in our gym or with our service if we're not giving them what they want and what they need? So I think my approach with this one is get your students to learn this. There aren't very many areas of the specification or the task, the assignment itself, the assessment itself that students have to remember by heart, but this I think is an area which I think they should do. If not, remember they're allowed to bring in 4 pages of A4. This is certainly, I think, something that they might want to write down so that they've got that to refer to, because it's, as we're continuing to see, is crucial with regards to what the assignment is all about, what the assessment, I keep saying something, what the assessment is all about, okay, to market the products or service, to reach their customers and to meet their needs and expectations. Now, just before we go on, I did say in this video we're going to be looking at different types of marketing, but before we get there, and I think actually that might be another video now, but before we move on, I just want to diverse a little bit, because this is how I would reinforce this understanding of what marketing is, by asking them why. Why do they need to market their products? Why can't they just say, well, there you go, and expect people to come to them? Well, of course, the answer would be, if customers don't know about it, if you're not signposting, if you're not messaging, then of course no one's going to come because they don't know. And it's a massively competitive marketplace, whichever type of business they've got. So they need to be proactive to reach their customers, to tell them they're there. And of course, as we've just said, they need to be able to provide for the customers what they want and expect. And if we remind ourselves now, let's just look at this one. If we remind ourselves of what the main purpose of a privately run business is, we should remember, and a student, we need to reinforce with them, it's to make a profit. That's what it's about. Private organizations are there to make a profit. But there are also a number of other reasons or other factors or journey or factors within a journey about a private business, which we can talk about. And you'll remember that in the first part of this assessment, they have to talk about the purpose of the business. So we can also remind them, well, they need to survive. And if they're not marketing, if they're not telling anybody about their business or their organization, then the chances are they're not going to survive. So they need to market themselves for survival. They need to market themselves to get money coming in. Obviously, they're going to spend money in setting up the business. Perhaps it's equipment, perhaps it's clothing, perhaps it's transport, whatever it happens to be, there's going to be money going out. And so they need to have money coming in order to break even. And of course, if they've gone through that survival and break even stage, then hopefully they're going to be a point where they can start to develop, where they can start to grow. And with growth, then comes the opportunity for diversification. And you remind your students that diversification then means that you are now introducing more than one revenue stream. You've got a variety of ways in which money is coming into the business. And ultimately, what the business wants to do is become the market leader. It wants to be the big fish in the big pond. And hence the image there of the fish jumping from small to large bowl. And the way in which we can make sure, one way, not the only way, but the way in which we can make sure that all of these things come together is by having a good reputation, by being an organization that is well known for its customer satisfaction and customer service. So we've got 7 points there as reasons for the purpose of a business, and we could easily tie all of those in to reasons why we need to market the business as well. So why marketing is so important. Now, just on the way in which I would remind or teach my students this, I would go through exactly what I've just done here with you on the video, but I would also make a point of making sure regularly that your students know those 7 points. And that's the sort of thing that you can introduce relatively early on into the course and then reiterate time and time again, because as we've seen, this is exactly what the examiners are looking for. And once they know those 7, they can expand on those a little bit, and that's where they're going to be getting into the top bands and looking to get those higher marks. All right. Now, the other thing I might do, again, remember you can take this slide and use it separately as well. It doesn't have to be within the marketing section here. But if we look at the way I might do it here, I might show them just the icons. I think using icons is really important. It's really useful. It's beneficial. So a little task for you now. You might want to stop, pause the video in just a second, but just think to yourself, okay, you've got those icons there. What do they represent? What do they mean? I wonder how well you can do. Just pause just now and let's see how you go. Okay, so I've got this showing in my classroom. I'm asking the students maybe they're working together to remind themselves, and then we simply go through it. So you choose a student or a couple of students. What's the first one mean? And there it is, profit. Big fish trying to catch a little fish. Little fish is trying to survive. Obviously, we've got the weight, the scales there, money in, money out, to get that balance for break even. The flower pot with the pound depicting growth, and then the pound sign with lots of different things, aspects going on, bringing in the money. So there's your diversification. We've already talked about the big fish, the little fish getting to a bigger pond and taking more market share and becoming the market leader. And then the obvious icon there for the call center customer service. It's not necessarily always going to be a call center, but it's the way in which the staff in the business interact with the customers that give them a good reputation, and the better the customer service, the more likely they're going to be a successful business. So that's a little aside, but I think it's really useful and one to revisit many times. I did promise that we would look at different types of marketing, so let's do that one in the next video, I promise.